Okay, hello. Okay, I've got a cable here. I'm gonna have to be a little careful. Okay, so I'm back doing another water walk video. Haven't done one in a while. Probably because I don't have a lot to say, you know. It's a beautiful day today. Sunny and cloudy. It's kind of, what is it, like the 1st of September or something? And it's starting to be less rainy, which is always a great thing as far as I'm concerned. Although the rainy season, I've said this before, but the rainy season has its beauty, that's for sure. Let's see if I can keep the jug in. Oh, that might work. Let's clean this out of dust and things. Oh, and this is this. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, so filling up water bottles. Don't have too much to say. I've been pretty busy making rosettes and making videos about rosettes, so that's kind of what's been going on for me, right? In terms of video making. What else? Right, I was talking about the weather. Yeah, so the rainy season, technically, I think that August and September are supposed to be the heaviest rain months in this part of Thailand. I mean, if you look at statistics, right? But it might be true. We have been getting some heavy rains, but at the moment, mostly they happen at night. Not always, but a lot of times they'll happen at nighttime. So the days end up being lots of sun and beautiful weather, and it's starting to cool down as well. Like at night, I kind of judge the coolness by the number of blankets I have. And at this time of year, I've got kind of start with one, and then by the morning time, I have two over me. So it's not very cold, but cool enough. Of course, in the winter time, in like December, January into February, it can be really cool. And that then becomes 3 or even 4 blankets. Sometimes I even pull out my down sleeping bag to cover me with. Let's see what else. I found a place where I can upload a whole bunch of music. That's cool. So I'm gonna do that today. Oops, better have a drink. Not too much on the environmental front. Well, of course, there's always tons on the environmental front. But in terms of news, it's just things are proceeding as expected. Although this year, at some point, we're going to have what they're calling a blue ocean event in the Arctic, where basically virtually all the ice is gone. That didn't happen this year. That'll happen when I think they're saying, if it's less than 1 million square kilometers, or maybe is it 100,000? I think it might be 1 million. But maybe it got down to 3 or 4 million. I mean, it's still vastly lower than it was, say, 20, 30 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, unbelievable. So it's just inevitable that will happen soon enough. Basically tomorrow. It might be next year, it might be 10 years later. I don't think it'll be 10 years later, but you know what I mean, from a geological standpoint, it's all tomorrow, I reckon. Anyway, so, right. Anyway, so that's pretty big stuff, like it really huge. Although no one seems to really, there's a core bunch of usual suspects that are on that all the time and that I'm connected with, and that's great, like Paul Beckwith and Guy McPherson, Jennifer Hines, Stuart, oh damn, I forgot his, sorry, I'll link it if I can remember. I forgot his name, damn, he does some really great stuff. Was his first name Stuart or last name Stuart? Oh shoot, it's just slipped my mind, but it'll come back to me. Doing amazing stuff. All these guys and girls. Anyway, but for most part, I don't see many people really concerning themselves, and maybe they shouldn't. There's not much you can do, I guess, other than live with right action in spite of not knowing what the outcome will be. That's something that Guy McPherson says a lot, and I think it might be. I appreciate everything that all these people talk about, just to be clear. But that aspect of Guy McPherson is something that of what he speaks of frequently, is something that I certainly appreciate, Because you don't want to get, the problem is like, oh, well, what's the point, right? It's like, for one thing, we never know what's coming around the corner. We can have suspicions, and fair enough, but so I always figure it's important to do as close to what we perceive as right action as possible. And as David Ehrenfeld said when talking about Wendell Berry, bad on names today. He said this, almost 30 years ago. Anyway, says Wendell Berry says, we all have to learn to live a little poorer. This is true enough. No one's paying attention to that. I don't think. Look, I got my bottles filled already. I guess I'll do some walking then as well. Anyway, so I guess my main point there is that, have to be conscious of what we're up to and what we're doing, and do what as best we can. And, so you can interpret that too many ways, right? Oh, I'm doing right action. I'm digging a copper mine. Oh, I know I'm polluting the environment, but I'm doing the right action for the people of my community or my family or my, whatever. I'm giving people. You see what I mean? It's sort of open to some interpretations, but isn't that postmodernist thing? That there's all sorts of equal. There's all sorts of ways of perceiving things, and they all have their equal weight. Is that what postmodern is? I don't know. I just don't like postmodernism because it has the word modern in it. That's enough for me. Screw that. Anyway, yeah, I think that's sort of the idea. And then other people that are countering the postmodern idea, I guess, if you can put it that way, say, oh, well, actually that's not true, that not every perception has equal value or goodness or whatever, however you want to put it, right? So, like, if anyway, it's tricky, right? Because then you start getting into that, what do they call it? They call it virtue signaling. Don't want to do that, right? I can say, well, I walk up to get my water. I'm virtuous and pure. It's like, well, it's not really true, because, I have an internet and a computer and have a motorbike. I mean, I don't drive a big car, but I do have a motorbike. I still use gas, petrol. So, anyway, we're all in it together, I reckon, But I have to say, I don't usually like to get into this, because it's just... Anyway. It's that social justice thing that's sort of eating at me, and I have a lot of friends that are kind of into it, I guess, and I think it's mostly bullshit, but there's some truth in it too, right? I reckon, so. Anyway, the thing that bugs me is everyone's going, oh, privilege, whatever, white privilege, well, what else is there? Oh, microaggressions, they're talking about safe spaces. I'm not here seeing it so much on my Facebook. This is where I mostly read that stuff, right? So I don't know. Yeah, well, there's something to it all, right? But it's such bullshit. Privilege. That's crap. That's ridiculous. Anyway, generally speaking, the people that rant on about this crap never ever talk about things actually matter on a bigger scale, right? Maybe it's too big. I don't know. Like, a friend of mine and we were talking, and I said, look, if any of these people that even once talked about the sea ice declining or the unbelievable collapse of the insect population in so many parts of the world, maybe all the world, then I might be willing to listen to a bit of what they're, I always say caterwauling. I love that word, caterwauling. So what they're caterwauling about, and but no, they don't. So screw them, all of them. Right. Anyway, on the other hand, well, now it's in Ontario, it's all about Ford, right? Everyone's up in arms about Ford. Kind of the same way people are up in arms about Trump. Gives them something to complain about. I mean, the guy's got to be an ultimate asshole, right? I mean, obviously, it's just like, ugh, yeah. But anyway, I guess get this sense that, people just get off on ranting about them. So everyone wants to complain, but not everyone. But a lot of people, I'm going to complain. Oh, he's a fascist. Maybe he is, I don't know. But no one's really, very few actually want to take responsibility. That's how I look at it anyway. So, okay, so let's take this Ford thing. So Ford, for people not from Ontario or Canada, is this new premier of Ontario who's really pretty right-wing. Maybe. He's right-wing like Trump's right-wing. Probably, he just takes advantage of stuff, right? He's just a manipulator and a abuser, probably, I'd say. Anyway, he had a famous brother who passed away, who was the mayor of Toronto, and he was filmed smoking crack, and it's just like, oh Lord. Anyway, so now it's Ford. But my sense is now we have something to complain about, and by complaining about it, we don't really need to think about how we created this beast, right? So Ford got there probably because of the connected actions over the years of other things. So the previous government, Wynne was her name. I don't know much about her. She seemed kind of what's the word? Identity politics oriented to some degree. So maybe Ford is really identity politics too. So maybe it's just the reaction to Wynne, but the opposite direction. And in the end, they end up being the same. So, I just think, what did we do? How did we do this, right? Because it's not like them. In the States they do that. Well, Clinton did that deplorables thing. It's just oh, Jesus. If you lost your mind, you're talking about, quote, you're talking about half the freaking population, more or less. You can't do that. You're all part of it. You're all part of the same bunch, right? So everyone voted Trump in. Don't mistake yourself. You're all in there, right? You might not have voted for him directly, but people that didn't vote for Trump probably voted for Obama before him. And is really that different? I mean, personally, I'd rather go out for dinner with Obama because he's pretty, as a human being, he seems pretty, he's smart as hell and incredible speaker, all that stuff. But as a head of a government, well, what does Peterson say? Well, at least Trump hasn't got the U.S. into another stupid war. True enough, but you always got to say, well, he's only 2 years in, so give him time. Anyway, now I'm on politics, and I really try to avoid it. What was I talking about? And I'm going to leave that now. I'm going to pack up my water, say my thank yous to the water gods in the forest, and make my way down, and maybe I'll do a bit of filming, bit of videoing as I walk. Forest is super wet. At the moment, trails are wet. Gotta be careful because it's slippery. Okay, thanks, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, here we go. Okay, there's a bit of a walking and chewing gum aspect to this, right? I got one point. Watch the trail. Support myself with my stick. Hold the camera and not fall off the edge, right? It's not as easy as it sounds. That's not that difficult, but anyway, yeah. So here we are. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch over to I have this new hiking kilt. It's acrylic. I'm going to do a video with it. So maybe I won't cut it. I'll just see if I can extend this somewhat. Ooh, it's really long. Okay, I'm going to have to angle it so you can see it. This I'm going to send to the company. Anyway, yeah, so for the Scottish Kilt Company people, I'll probably do a video at the beginning This will probably just plug this in somewhere. So as I would have said, I love to hike in kilts, right? But I live in the forest in the north of Thailand, where it's cooler than most places in Thailand, but still tropical, right? I have my wool kilts are really too warm for here for most of the year. So I got this with the thought, oh, I can hike with it, and it's great. It's super light, comfortable, well made, and I'll show you some of the details of the construction. I mean, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to talk about, because I've made kilts a lot, you know, by hand. So really traditional style with cold press and everything, pure wool, 8 to 9 yards, all that stuff. And they're gorgeous, but you know, for this weather, not so good. So these are light, they're nice, they're well made. The fabric is better than I was expecting, actually. And on this one, boy, the pattern's beautiful, eh? This is work through, which is an Irish pattern. Okay, so we'll cut that. Anyway, so I'm going to hike a bit so you can see the kind of forest that I'm in. Right now, I'm not just hiking, I'm getting water. I hike up 2 kilometers to a spring, and then 2 kilometers back to the house. This beautiful mountain water, and I don't filter it or boil it or anything. It's just fabulous. But anyway, you get an idea of, you can see right now it's the end of the rainy season, so the forest is very wet. And yeah, get an idea of where I'll be wearing this kilt. Right, okay, so I got the kilt thing done. Now I'll do, let's see, I don't have anything to say really, so I'll just do a forest walk. We're off. Okay. I have to get a new selfie stick. This one is a little bit bouncy. You know, I find it much easier to hold the stick and have the phone on the thing. It's steadier than just holding it with my hand, right? Yeah, so I haven't done a kind of a walking bit in a while. Gives you a chance to see, probably doesn't look all that different than most of the year. Up here it's green all year round. And lower down, the teak trees and other trees drop their leaves, right? Because it's getting really hot and really dry. But up here, there's definitely some leaves drop for sure. But it's most of the trees hold their leaves still. Okay. This is another kilt one. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to point it down and see if that does anything. Yeah, it doesn't do much. Okay, never mind. Okay. Right. Yeah. So, what else? Life's good. Haven't sold my guitar yet. Please someone buy my guitar. I've been making these rosettes though, and it's been very gratifying. Pretty soon I'm gonna have enough rosettes for all the guitars I make for the rest of my freaking life. And then I'll be sad because I'll still want to make rosettes. I guess I'll still make them. Just choose the best ones. Anyway, whatever. I've done lots of rosette videos. You can have a look. There's a little stream. So where I was getting my the spring, the stream that's down there was passing by me, and you would have heard the flow. Although I don't get the water from that stream exactly. I get it from an offshoot spring that then feeds into that. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, it's wet and slippery. If all of a sudden the camera goes, the video image goes flying up in the air and then you don't hear anything, well, I can't ask you to call anyone because the camera's gonna go with me. Anyway, yeah. You can see how wet it is. Yeah. So, who was I mentioning? Paul Beckwith, Guy McPherson, Jennifer Hines, Stuart. Damn, sorry, Stuart. I think about your work all the time, and just at this very moment, I can't remember your last. Stuart. It's not Smith, because Smith is the last name of the guy that does Radio EcoShock, isn't it? Oh Lord, I'm losing my mind. It's not raining. That's good. Anyway, just picking my way down. I guess I'm going to stop it and I'll click in when things sort of open up. Okay, I made it. I'm down to the more open part. Boy, the stream in this section that I just came through is really wet right now. This time of year, it's basically like a little stream, but it's not like a stream over stone where you could sort of grip on stuff. It's just muddy and leafy and everything, super slippery. Anyway, can't do things like videoing when you do that. That's not a recipe for good action. Anyway, I was thinking of what can I blather on about now? I thought, I'm gonna have show and tell because I'm using a new knife. Hang on a sec. Okay, so let's see if I can swivel this around. See here, I always carry a knife with me. So my old knife had this cold steel, they call it a tanto. It's not a real tanto. But anyway, I broke it. I was working in the woods and snapped the thing. So now I have this I've had this one for years, but I never really carried it much with me. It's a bit bigger than the cold steel. How am I going to do this? Okay, I'm going to put this here. So here's the blade itself. It's quite a large blade. Let's see if we can focus on that. If you look carefully, you'll see that it's actually laminated. I don't know, what the hell. Let's see if I can focus there. Okay. Yeah, you might be able to see some of that. The sort of horizontal layers, right? Those are the laminations. Ooh, got a bit of something there. It's not rust, nothing. Anyway, I should oil it when I get back. Anyway, it's a nice knife. Right, okay, so hang on a second. Right, okay, so yeah, it's a good knife. Very strong and all that. It's super Japanese, of course. It's a, complete Japanese style. Oh, and the tsuba is my own. I should have mentioned that. Hang on a sec. Let's see if I can do this again. So the tsuba, which is my stick's not sticking. Hang on, okay. The tsuba, which is, I guess you could, it's the guard, I made myself. When I was in New Brunswick, I think I did do this one in New Brunswick. I did some stuff in Banff too. But yeah, it's bronze. Focus. Please focus. Anyway, maybe get an idea. Anyway, it's nice. Yep. Anyway, it's a very stylish knife, but also very strong. And 1065 steel. I always forget the numbers. Anyway, it's a good hard steel. It's not too brittle. The one thing with that cold steel tanto was that it was stainless steel, and I had it for 35 years probably, and I cut down trees with it, small trees, and all kinds of stuff with it. So certainly lasted a long time, but stainless steel is a bit brittle. So I was kind of banging on it with a piece of wood to cut something, split something, and then have a knife just tucked right in there in my boots, and then I have one in my bag too. I'm not sure if you saw the tsuba. I'll do it again, darn. I'm not sure if that earlier bit showed. Anyway, so here's the tsuba that I made out of bronze, New Brunswick. Yeah. So I just put that on myself. Yeah, so show and tell. Yeah, so that's my knife show and tell for today. So always carry a knife. Like, I have friends that go in Canada that go canoeing or hiking in the woods and don't even have a freaking knife. That just freaks me out every time I see that. I mean, most people's gonna have a freaking Swiss Army knife or something, but even that, although they're extremely useful, that's not really enough, right? You need a Swiss Army knife because they're so practical and useful. You also need a big knife, right? You need something that you can put the blade against wood and hit it with another piece of wood, bâton, and then make a shelter or whatever. You just gotta do it. Anyway, that's my little bit of advice. Anyway, so I'm coming down to the part where I hit the road soon. I don't know what else to say. Well, look at the blue sky. Blue skies. Woo! Nice, eh? Yeah. Insects are singing. That's always a good sign to hear the insects, you know. Anyway, so that's a bit of a blather, a bit of ecological thoughts, a bit of social justice thoughts. I guess I'm signing off. Hope everyone's doing great, and get out in the woods and go hiking is my advice. Okay, ciao.